We've been talking a lot about the themes of the illusion of death. Yes, the illusion of death to help us heal through our deepest emotional pains. And if that in itself triggers you, I highly invite you and welcome you to listen to the last three episodes of the Sovereign Woman podcast. It's important for us to really embody those teachings to be able to understand the power and the incredible opportunity that today's new moon in Scorpio brings forth to us. Because when it is that we actually realize how this new moon in Scorpio is offering us all a unique opportunity to really move forward, to resurrect. That's exactly what we're going to be talking about today in the Sovereign Woman Movement podcast. We're going to be looking at the significance of today's new moon in Scorpio and what this has to do with uncovering our deepest ancestral wounds in order to move forward and disrupt the pattern. Satnam, beautiful sovereign women, Satnam, and welcome to another episode of the Sovereign Women podcast, where it is our mission to heal the nervous system and rewire the brain in order to disrupt patterns of ancestral, emotional, karmic pain. And we do this with the teachings of Kundalini Yoga therapy and, of course, the miracle spiritual psychotherapy, along with the incredible wisdom that is bestowed upon us through the oldest science ever, which is astrology. It's an honor to be here with you on Moon Day, where in this segment of the Sovereign Moon podcast, we focus on specifically the energy for the week, the astrological energy, which coincides so much with what is happening within, because as above, so below. And this new moon in Scorpio is an understatement as to how much deep we can go in order to really be able to disrupt these patterns and move forward. Because the reason you are stuck in life, the reason why you feel like life is not responding to you, like you keep repeating these patterns, is because we need to first bring awareness to the wounds, then through the awareness, learn to accept them, and then finally integrate a new way of thinking, a new sound frequency to be able to truly overcome them. And this new moon in Scorpio really lays out the foundation for us to actually do that. If you've noticed, for the last actually few months, we've been all kind of in a state of, I want to take massive action, but there's been this state within us of paralysis. And this is mostly because of this new identity. Hopefully, it's your authentic identity that we're merging into. We've been going through major change and transformation this entire year, but even especially since the summertime, where Venus, the planet of the divine feminine, our creative, intuitive nature, was going through her own rebirth, right? And as she finalized that Venus star point in the last month and a half, 2 months ago, it's like we've been wanting to just go, right? Like, let's do this. Like, I know who I am. I know what my boundaries are. Yet this paralysis, which is a lot of it is made up of fear, is what's really been holding us back. And the reason why we've been held back through this paralysis is because our masculine energy, which is the energy of the leadership, of taking action, was also going through a major metamorphosis. And that's why last week in the episode of what to expect for November's astrology, I focused a lot around understanding the Scorpio energy, understanding the energy of the month, which Saturn went direct last week, which really is helping us propel and move forward. So, really, the pain that you are feeling right now is not from the paralysis, it's actually from your inner guidance, from your soul pushing you forward to actually take action. And it's really in the pain of us not taking action that we suffer the most, in knowing what our soul is here to do and on not doing anything about it. So now, this new moon in Scorpio, it's almost like we've caught up, because in essence, for you to embody who you know you are from an inner perspective, you've got to catch up the mind with the actions that you're taking every single day. Most of us might have a visualization, a vision for what we want our life to be, but then we don't have enough energy. We don't have enough chi to actually take action to come make those two worlds come together. And as this new moon in Scorpio comes, it really does bring this opportunity for us to do that. And the reason that is because now we're going through a rebirth of the masculine energy. You see, we don't just look at the new moon and Scorpio to get a real good understanding as to what is happening with this new moon, because all new moons offers us a really big opportunity for new beginnings, right? But in order for us to embrace these new beginnings, we got to do the deep subconscious work, because nothing in your outer world is going to change unless it changes from the inner world, right? So now here we are with Scorpio, who is all about going deep into the subconscious, who's all about determination in transformation. Who's also bringing this energy in the new moon of perseverance, of we're going to push forward, we're going to do whatever has to be done in order to make these changes palpable, in order to allow ourselves to actually transform. And on top of that, we have this opposition between two planets that is rare, because usually it takes a year to 2 years for this to occur, but also because of the combined energies when you combine them with Scorpio, which bring forth like this volatility. It's almost like this breakthrough, like the shocking truth that is revealed. And what I'm talking about is Mars opposing Uranus at the same time of this lunation. So on Saturday, actually, we had the exact opposition between Mars and Uranus. This was in the 11:11. Some people call that a portal as well. Numerologically, the 11:11 date is very important, but I always focus on not just numerologically. For me, for a portal to be a true portal, there also has to be an essence of the planetary uh, energy of what it's doing around that portal. So, for example, like I was sharing with my community this morning, like the 8-8 portal, the Lionsgate portal, that one to me is very important, because during the 8-8 portal and around those days, we have the star system Sirius aligning with the planet Earth, which is why our ancestors, like the Egyptians, practice ritual, they practice meditation, especially during those days, to really harness that energy. Because just the way our brother Jesus Christ, our brother Buddha, Enoch, all received downloads and guidance from our ancestors from the intergalactic world, like Ceres, Orion, Pleiades, so can we. So those dates are very important to me. Now, the 11:11 portal, I see it numerologically, how beautiful and divine it is, but I don't necessarily buy into the idea that it's an actual portal that's opening us up for transformation. What I was paying attention on that Saturday was this opposition between Mars and Uranus, because that is very volatile and it's also a huge opportunity. So remember how I was telling you that since the summertime, our divine feminine energy, which all of us in this world have divine feminine energy and divine masculine energy, whether you're a woman or a male. Divine feminine, creativity, intuition, right? Connecting from within. It's been going through a rebirth, and now here comes Mars opposing Uranus. Mars is getting ready also to sit across the sun on the 18th, which means it's going through its own rebirthing process. This is why, as the new moon in Scorpio comes to us today on 11/13, we're now feeling more energy in the body. We're feeling this drive, this conviction to actually take action, because Mars is all about the masculine energy, which is that action of leadership, of moving forward, regardless of who or what is in front of us. But the thing with Mars opposing Uranus is that it can bring a lot of sudden arguments, volatility. It can bring a lot of maybe even challenging warlike energy. And the reason that is because Uranus is the planet of rebellion and shock. And when Mars sits across Uranus, it's almost like anything can happen, like shocking truths, especially things being revealed to you as to where you're being a drama queen or where someone in your life is being a drama queen. Now, if it's you that's being the drama queen, then what an incredible opportunity for you to really look at this core wound, because these wounds that we carry within us, they're not just from our lifetime. Not only are they from past lifetimes, but proven through the science of epigenetics, we're dealing with traumas that our ancestors could not heal from. So Mars, masculine energy, sitting across Uranus, all of a sudden it's revealed to you who else is the drama queen also in your life. And because you've been going through a rebirth in Venus, which is your feminine energy, if there is a challenge with someone else and you're seeing drama, what you're going to respond with is conviction, with boundaries. What have you been learning the last 6 months about setting boundaries with people, with toxicity, with yourself? So this energy, as much as it can be very volatile and you might have encountered some challenging arguments, it's actually an incredible opportunity for you to hold your ground, for you to remember who you are, and for you to continue to forge your path forward, regardless of what society, your aunt, your mother, your religion, whoever all these people are that are telling you to dim your light and to not be authentically who you truly are. So you see, even though it's challenging, it's actually a huge opportunity for us to forge forward and to really, more importantly, which is what Scorpio does for us, like I explained last week, is to look at these core wounds. Because if challenges are happening in your life, they're not there to punish you, and you're not a victim either. They're there as a mirror, as an opportunity for you to examine them and become aware of them, because you cannot change what you're not aware of. So as we get to this new moon in Scorpio today on Monday, or regardless of when you're watching this, because this energy, you're going to feel it for the next month, at least until the next new moon in December. What we're feeling is like this pent up energy, this impulse, right? We want to take action, we want to make moves. And especially if you've been doing the inner work, then guess what? You've been listening to the hints and to the clues that God has been leaving for you. You've been recognizing where it is that you need to go deeper, where it is that you need to not run away from these really uncomfortable emotions, because there is incredible, profound truth in feeling in order to heal it, right? So, as uncomfortable as we are, we can use this uncomfortableness to have some kind of discernment as to where these new timelines are taking us. And if you're still kind of confused today, especially on this new moon, then that's okay. Because thanks to the planet Uranus of reveal, revelations, of shock, you're going to get some really important puzzle pieces throughout this lunation that are going to require for you to do the work yourself, to get into alignment with these messages, to actually say yes. Because when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. This is why probably you're listening to this right now. So whether you're aware of it or not, these changes are going to happen within you. In fact, what is dying is what no longer works in this frequency. Who is dying is who no longer is adapting to this new frequency of the age of Aquarius, of this new frequency of revelation, of basically also transparency, where in a very near future, like I'm talking about 10, 15 years, we will be able to read your energy. I can do that now, but most people cannot do that, right? But it'll be very, very easy, especially the new babies being born, for them to telepathically speak to each other, for them to be able to read what people are actually thinking. Again, energy talks faster than or louder than your words. And if you are already practicing meditation practices like Kundalini yoga, which make you incredibly sensitive, you already are reading other people's energy, and you're already seeing the transparency. And if you're a really good meditator and an amazing healer, then you're not judging. You're basically seeing in neutrality, because if someone comes to you with their darkness, it's a cry for help. And the way you heal someone else is to be able to see them through the neutral mind, to be able to see them as the Christ. That's why they came to you. They didn't come to you for you to then tell them more about their pain and darkness and how fucked up they are. They came to you so that you could liberate them. And that's what this new moon is all about: liberating others that are crying out for help with their volatility, liberating yourself from that drama queen mentality that you get addicted to because you need that cortisol kick to run through your body, especially if you've grown up under a lot of trauma in your life or a lot of chaos. So, what Scorpio is doing in this new moon is helping us acknowledge what's going on underneath the subconscious, where we are dying and where we are rebirthing. What Scorpio is doing is like helping us acknowledge these core truths about what is going on within us, and also the awareness around the complexity of what's happening in our life, so that through the help of Uranus, the planet of instant revelation, instant shock, we can actually gain this awareness and literally understand ourselves and these deep wounds, so that we can then raise our vitality levels to learn to respond to things, not from our skewed perceptions of childhood and ancestral trauma, but from our own deeply authentic selves, from our own true essence. That is what Scorpio is really connecting us to. And the question over here from our friend Dezel5 is, will this be recorded? Yes, this is going to be recorded, not here on Instagram, but you can catch the replay on everywhere where podcasts are played, and as well as on my YouTube channel, which you can find me at Veronica Barragan on YouTube. And that you'll find the replay there today as well. Thank you for asking. And thank you for the hearts and for engaging with us over here. I am paying attention. So with this new moon, I really believe that as long as we're courageous enough to sit with these messages, that literally in an instant, we can really be cleaned from our past baggages, from all these ways where we have given up our power. And it's really inviting us to engage with life more fully, to learn to live authentically, to invite these truths into our life, even if they're hard to face, to learn to release ourselves from this addiction to drama or dramatic people that many times we become addicted to in order to continue to play out our childhood wounds, our ancestral karmic wounds. So we are in for an incredible ride because we have this new moon that is setting us up as a catalyst for releasing and for transforming these inherited patterns, because that's what these wounds are all about. So last week, I shared with you all 3 different episodes on death and the illusion of death, a spiritual perspective. I shared with you a scientific perspective from Kundalini Yoga, spiritual from A Course in Miracles, and then I shared with you the astrological perspective. This week, what we're going to do, because these wounds are now coming to the surface, is we're going to work with what happens with the process of death and rebirth, which is the word known as grief. And grief is what the collective consciousness is going through. This is a society. We now live in a world where most people have not had therapy, grief recovery process to be able to heal even from their own personal lives. And you better believe that the ancestral lives haven't been healed either. In fact, when we don't heal and work through grief recovery, that is exactly why the emotional patterns of pain keep being repeated over and over. The 4 most common patterns of emotional karmic pain that I work with women in healing are addictions, childhood trauma, depression, and addictions, childhood trauma, depression. And I can't even think of the 4th one right now, but I know it's very important. It'll come to me right now. But these particular, or toxic relationships, excuse me, that's another one that's very, very common. So having divorce patterns in your life or abandonment issues, things of that nature. Now, so these 4 very deep karmic ancestral wounds, they might be coming up, right? And the reason that they keep repeating with your children and the next generation and the next generation is because there was never an opportunity for healing to actually do the grief recovery work. So what we're going to do this week is tomorrow on Tuesday, I'm going to be sharing with you the spiritual perspective techniques from A Course in Miracles to actually help you move through grief recovery, allow yourself to heal so that the pattern can be disrupted. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to share with you the scientific, the Kundalini Yoga perspective. And I'm going to be sharing with you a very important breathing meditation that actually helps you process and release grief. Because you have to remember that grief is not only spiritual, but it's biophysical, meaning that these emotions actually get stuck in your body. And they get not only stuck in your body, but then they create disease, which is why people get sick ultimately. It all started with an emotion. So we're going to be working through that process in the next 3 days, and including a understanding of what the grief recovery even looks like what happens during grief recovery. What part of the grief stage am I even in? Most of us don't even know that we're grieving. Most of us don't even know how to grieve or what we need to do to stabilize the nervous system and to get the brain wired again for vitality instead of those patterns of unconscious thinking. And through this new moon, today specifically, if you're listening to this live or specifically on 3 days before and 3 days after the new moon, I highly welcome you and invite you to really go within. Because if you haven't received the messages of what it is that you're supposed to move through or welcome is acceptance and awareness, then you're gonna keep repeating these patterns. Now, what you can do is you can go to my YouTube channel here at Veronica Barragan. I highly suggest that you pick a meditation that has to do with subconscious mind patterns, which I have a few there that you can choose from. And practicing that meditation, especially today, because not only do you want to get the discernment of the downloads, but you want to begin the process of changing the patterns from the brain and changing the patterns from the nervous system. In my community, Satori Vitality and Spirituality, we started a brand new 40-day meditation challenge. It's a Kundalini Yoga meditation for the subconscious mind. And the reason why we're doing this is because so much has died that what we're doing is we're working through the grieving process with this subconscious mind meditation to prepare us for the next 40 days, which brings us right to the winter solstice, which is a very important event right before we close out 2023. You see, the reason why you keep repeating these patterns is because you haven't dealt with the brain and the nervous system. You haven't dealt with the subconscious mind. So if you want a brand new 2024 for you and for your family, then you have to remember that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Nothing in your outer world is going to change if your inner world does not change. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner thought patterns. And regardless of what you've been through, again, the most karmic ancestral patterns of emotional pain, addiction, childhood abuse, or trauma, if you're talking about toxic relationships where you haven't recovered from divorces or infidelity or betrayal, or if you're talking about depression, these patterns, although they sound like they're unhealable, not only are they healable, but you can disrupt the pattern at the level of the DNA. And you can start doing that work now so that as 2024 comes, yes, you're going to have your vision board, you're going to have goals, your business goals, your personal goals, and all that. But you're going to assure your success. You're preparing for your victory. Because if you don't change that inner world, again, good luck. Good luck in trying to push through the subconscious and everything it tells you, especially as it relates to worthiness or not being ready to receive your kingdom. So this is a very important time of the year where the more that we really commit ourselves to changing the only thing we can change, which is our thought patterns, the more that we're going to see those results in the outer world. So to conclude, go to my YouTube channel, pick one of those meditations, practice it today for as long as it's been given to you in my YouTube channel. Highly suggest you pick one for the subconscious mind. And then again, join us tomorrow between 10 a.m. I usually go live between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. You can set your notifications here on YouTube or on Instagram or on Facebook so that you're notified when I go live. And we're going to go deeper into grief tomorrow, the spiritual aspect and techniques to help you clear that. And then on Wednesday, we're going to go into the scientific aspect and what the grief recovery process actually looks like. Other than that, enjoy this new moon in Scorpio. Remember, there's a lot of conviction. There's a lot of support, especially from the ethereal world, from your ancestors, from your spirit guide, from whoever it is that you call upon to assist you in this journey. And the reason we have so much of that support is because Scorpio is all about letting all of that die that no longer serves us. So as scary as it sounds and as scary as it feels, remember that you are worthy and that you are holy and that you are ready for the kingdom to be bestowed upon you. Thank you so much for joining us. Dezel 5. Yeah, Dezel 5, that's what it is. Beyond Sunset 88, thank you for the hearts. Also, thank you for joining us as well. Nancy, it's so good to see you here also. Marissa, who else did I miss here? Annalie Deasian, thank you so much for joining us. If you'd like to be a guest on the podcast episode, send me a DM and we can talk about that as well because I'd love to add guests to the show as well. Again, I'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Set your notifications. Share this video with everybody you know. Let's get more women on the journey to join us to disrupt ancestral karmic patterns of emotional. I love you all.